The day the scaffolding collapsed, I wasn't even there. I was miles away in a training session. But within hours, my phone buzzed nonstop with texts from coworkers. The words were all the same. They're blaming you. When I walked into the office the next morning, my boss folded his arms, stared me dead in the eye, and said, "You'll never work in this industry again." For weeks, I believed him. My career, my reputation, my future, all gone. But then, one unexpected witness stepped forward. And their words in court flipped the case, and my entire life, upside down. Before I tell you how, subscribe to Lawful Payback and drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. My name is Rafael Dominguez, 44, from San Antonio, Texas. For 2 decades, I worked in construction, a job that wasn't glamorous, but it was honest. I started out carrying lumber, mixing cement, sweeping floors. Over the years, I earned certifications, worked long nights, and eventually became a licensed site supervisor. The company I worked for, Lone Star Build Group, wasn't the biggest, but it had a reputation. Deadlines came first, safety second. I hated that. But I had a wife, Sophia, and 2 kids in high school. A steady paycheck kept food on the table, so I kept quiet. On a Tuesday morning, while I was off-site in Austin attending a mandatory OSHA training, disaster struck. A scaffold at one of our downtown San Antonio projects collapsed. 3 workers were hurt. One was rushed to the ER with broken ribs. By the time I returned, whispers had already started. Rafael signed off on it. The next morning, I was summoned to headquarters. Frank Delaney, regional manager, sat behind his polished desk, eyes narrowed. "Rafael," he snapped, "you signed the safety clearance, didn't you?" "No, Frank. I wasn't even on site. I was in Austin. You know that." He shoved a crumpled checklist toward me. At the bottom, RD, my initials. My heart dropped. "That's not mine." "Don't play dumb," Frank growled. "You're suspended pending investigation." By the time I left his office, half the building knew. Coworkers I'd mentored for years turned their backs. Some muttered, "He got sloppy." Others whispered, "He cut corners." When I walked through the door at home, Sophia was at the table, arms crossed. "What's going on?" "People are saying you caused the collapse." I swore to her I hadn't. But even she hesitated, searching my face for the truth. That hurt more than Frank's words. The investigation dragged on for weeks, then months. Lone Star pinned the blame squarely on me. OSHA came sniffing around. Suddenly, I wasn't just unemployed, I was staring at possible negligence charges. The industry moved fast. Rumors spread quicker than facts. Other companies blacklisted me before I even applied. Bills piled high on the counter. Sophia picked up shifts at a diner just to keep us afloat. My daughter, Camila, stopped asking if she could sign up for soccer tournaments. My son, Diego, started working weekends at a car wash. I sank into shame. I stopped answering calls. Friends drifted away. One night, I found Sophia crying quietly in the kitchen. "Rafael, we're drowning. We can't live like this." I went to bed staring at the ceiling, Frank's words echoing. "You'll never work in this industry again." I believed him. For weeks, I thought about giving up, selling the house, moving somewhere no one knew me. Then, out of nowhere, came the call that changed everything. It was from Jorge Castillo, a younger laborer who'd worked under me. His voice trembled. "Mr. Dominguez, I need to tell you something. I saw what happened that morning." My heart pounded. "What do you mean, Jorge?" I saw Frank. He signed the checklist. He scribbled your initials at the bottom. Everyone was nervous about the scaffold, but he wanted it cleared fast. I didn't say anything before. I was scared, but I can't stay quiet anymore. I nearly dropped the phone. Jorge had no reason to lie. The next day, I took his statement straight to Maria Sanchez, an employment attorney with a reputation for ripping corporate liars apart. She scanned the affidavit, then looked at me with steel in her eyes. "Rafael, this isn't just wrongful termination. This is fraud. With Jorge as a witness, we can take them to court and win." For the first time in months, hope flickered. Lone Star showed up with an army of lawyers in expensive suits. They painted me as careless, reckless, negligent. Frank took the stand, puffed up with confidence. Mr. Dominguez was responsible for site safety. He cut corners, signed the clearance without inspection. His initials are right there. Their attorney waved the checklist at the jury. "Ladies and gentlemen, this is clear evidence of negligence." When I testified, the defense circled like vultures. "Mr. Dominguez, you expect us to believe those aren't your initials?" "Yes." Are you claiming someone forged them? Yes. I wasn't even in San Antonio that day. The lawyer sneered. Convenient. Everyone else says you were. I felt the jury's doubt. My throat closed. Then Maria rose, calm and steady. She called Jorge. He walked slowly to the stand, hands shaking, but his voice grew stronger with each word. I saw Frank Delaney sign that paper. He wrote Rafael's initials. Rafael wasn't even in town. We all knew he was in Austin at training. Gasps rippled across the courtroom. The defense attorney jumped up. Objection. Hearsay. The judge slammed the gavel. Overruled. The witness saw it firsthand. Continue. Jorge looked Frank dead in the eye. I was scared to come forward. But I won't lie anymore. Then Maria produced time-stamped records. My badge swipe entering the Austin Training Center that morning. Video surveillance confirmed it. I couldn't have signed anything in San Antonio. Piece by piece, Lone Star's case crumbled. The jury leaned forward, eyes narrowed. Frank's face drained of color. Maria pressed harder. Mr. Delaney, why would you risk signing that clearance? Frank stammered. I didn't. Maria cut him off, slapping the paper down. You forged my client's initials, risked lives, and destroyed his career. And now the truth is out. The courtroom buzzed with murmurs. For the first time, Frank's confidence cracked after days of testimony. The jury returned. Verdict, in my favor. The judge declared Lone Star guilty of wrongful termination, defamation, and reckless endangerment. I was awarded $400,000 in damages, plus full legal fees. I dropped my face into my hands, tears flowing. Maria squeezed my shoulder and whispered, "Justice." Sophia sobbed in relief. Camila hugged me so tight I thought she'd never let go. Diego grinned, ear to ear. See, Dad? They couldn't beat the truth. Frank stormed out of the courtroom, pale and silent. Weeks later, Lone Star announced his departure. OSHA fined the company heavily, and investors pulled out. But the victory wasn't just mine. Jorge became a hero. The jury applauded when he stepped down. Later, he told me, I couldn't let them destroy you. At church, people who once whispered now shook my hand. We're proud of you, Rafael. And slowly, the phone started ringing again. Other companies, impressed by my integrity, wanted me. My reputation wasn't destroyed, it was stronger than ever. That night, sitting at our kitchen table, Sophia took my hand. You didn't just win for us. You showed our kids what standing up looks like. Frank once said I'd never work in the industry again. But thanks to one brave witness, I walked out of that courtroom with my dignity, my career, and my future intact. If you believe in fighting back when the odds are stacked against you, subscribe to Lawful Payback. The next story will leave you speechless.